Bow down before my psycho power.
As we count down the days to Evo Vegas, things are getting wild. So much talks of which character's broken. I got into trouble for talking about Anna, making fun of an Anna combo I seen with how broken the character is. The animates, they really did not like that, and they started to call me a lot of things in response. Meanwhile, you have this huge beef between Arslan and Nee, and it's overflowing and turning into just pure chaos. But it's a discussion that was kind of around top tier characters. The balancing of Tekken 8 is one that is basically acting as the foundation for all of these conversations to happen. I mean, think about it like this. If Tekken 8 was balanced correctly, most of these conversations and interactions would not have happened. I think that speaks to the level of maybe they would happen though. Maybe it would happen, but in a different form. Maybe I'm thinking too highly of the Tekken players and their ability to not cause chaos. I mean, I'm one of them. The Moonsault Slayer and chaos goes hand in hand. B&E Esports tweeted out this dojo update where it shows all of the winners of the previous events. And you can see a Steve Fox player did his thing in France. You can see Anakin did his thing in Jack. You can see a Fang player was in Australia cooking. And then Arslan and Nee were in their respective areas dominating with their characters. But something that I was oh so proud of seeing, and a name that you don't really hear that much about, is Quudans. For those of you who don't know who Quudans is, he is a legend. And he kind of flies under the radar. Everyone knows about Nee, Ulsan, Arslan, Atif, but not too many people know Quudans. His journey through Tekken 8 has been pretty difficult. Nee struggled at the start of Tekken 8, but he recovered entering in Season 2. Quudans struggled and was still struggling up until this moment, but he is now starting to see some success. This is one of the best Devil Jin players, Mishima users to ever do it. If you were there in the early days of Tekken 7, you remember how intense the rivalry was between Nee, Quudans, JDCR. Those three were dominating, were battling, were fighting for their claim at the top. And Quudans deserves the absolute respect and credit because his work that he's done echoes across the generations of Tekken. But also talking about his most recent victory, looking at the tweet here, it says Quudans beat Ulsan, Mogold, Rengchu, Janding, and Breadman with Heihachi and Devil Jin at the STL finals. Now, just those 5 names alone. You have Ulsan, which is the EWC champion of last year. You have Rengchu, which is the TWT champion of last year. You have Mogold and Janding, who's been doing incredible work. And apologies for my lack of knowing, but I'm not too familiar with who Breadman is. I think he's the Yoshi main, correct me on that. But regardless, when you talk about who's the best Korean player, these names are thrown out there while Quudans is not. In Tekken 8, his character that he plays, he's a Devil Jin main, but he also dabbles with the Heihachi as well. But both of those characters aren't nowhere near as powerful as they used to be. In Tekken 7, Devil Jin was a real force to be reckoned. A lot of people had a pocket Devil Jin, Nee, and whatnot. They would pull out a Devil Jin when things got dicey, but in Tekken 8, no one's doing that. He does have a very high win rate online, but when you talk about tournament environments, a lot of pro players have the reaction and the knowledge to shut him down. So showing up with a Devil Jin in tournament, I mean, the odds is stacked against you. Now, even though I personally think Heihachi is powerful as well, once again, you can talk about his high win rate. You can talk about how Ultra Instinct is statistically one of the most broken mechanics in the game. But still, you take that kind of character into online and he doesn't do work. When you hear people say that Heihachi is only good in Ultra Instinct, that is like in a tournament environment. You know, in a tournament environment where people react and punish everything, Heihachi and Devil Jin doesn't work. So for Quudans to not only stick to these characters, because we see a lot of people switching to whatever character is the most powerful. So when people don't do that and they stick to their favorite characters, that is something to be respected, cherished, and appreciated. Quudans represents what Tekken should be. Continuously pushing through even when things getting tough and rising up and defeating the competition. You know, to compare his victory to our ranked experiences, I see a lot of people talk about I'm hard stuck Tekken King, I'm hard stuck blue ranks. And I often tell those people after giving them some advice, but I tell them, know that struggle that you're going through is the same thing that everyone else is experiencing. And Quudans represents that the most. He has been struggling all throughout Tekken 8, but he has been continuously grinding and working and trying to get better, and it's paying off. I also like how this tweet says, don't worry about tears, just keep playing who you love. On the conversation of everyone talking about which characters is broken, which characters is carrying, me personally, I think everyone's carried by every character. When you look at tier lists, you usually see every character in S plus, S, and A plus, right? You may see an A if someone want to put an Eddie down there by himself or a Lee down there, but generally every character in this game is stronger than they were in Tekken 7, and every character has won a tournament. Every character has reached God of Destruction ranks. Every character is brutal. And I really don't think it's worth switching between characters based on how powerful they are. Also, another part of this conversation you can talk about is how old some of these guys are getting. Video games is thought of as kind of like a young man's game. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that term. Nee was considering retiring at one point in time because he didn't know how long he would be able to play and if he would be able to keep up with the younger generation. We see how good the next generation is. You talk about Ulsan, King Ray Jr., Arsenal and Ash, iMusician. These younger players, they are doing some serious work, and a lot of them are still at the starts of their careers. If you talk about Quudans and Nee playing for like 20 years, some of these guys been playing for like 3, 4, 5. And for the old guys to still be dominant, to still be putting in work, this is something that is incredible because, you know, when you get older, your reaction time cuts down, your eyes start to not see. It's just cool to see the older generation of Tekken players continue to overcome all odds. When you think that they are getting washed up or they're going to slow down, they continue to cook. On June 3rd, 2025, Quudans put out this tweet, and I think it's important to reflect on it. I've been playing since Tekken 1 and have accepted the flow of times, but I'm writing this because I feel like the basic game mechanics are collapsing. In this tweet, he breaks down 6 points as to what he thinks the problem is for Tekken. And a lot of people agreed with these. You have some of the core ideas of the game being altered in pursuit of aggression, and that aggression is having a crazy impact on characters' identities, the flow of the game, pressure, defense. You know, Main Man Sweet said this is the hardest Tekken game ever because defense in this game is so difficult. In this game, if you make one mistake or if you guess wrong slightly, you're dead. When defense is easier, by easier I mean better movement, better punishment, more consistent punishing, things like that. I think Tekken is better. The harder the defense in Tekken, the more streamlined, flowcharty, and guessing the game becomes. Even when Quudans was feeling this way about season 2, he did not give up. He continued to work, he continued to grind, he did not play politics on Twitter. He just labbed, he just trained, he stuck to Devil Jin, he stuck to Heihachi, and he came out on top. This is like one of the most inspirational things that happened from season 2, and I cherish moments like these a lot